Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our second game in this Tier 1 Best of 3 in KDL of MVP Phoenix versus 5NQ. I'm Zyori back with Nature's Prophet, and we're ready to get into what could be the last match of the night. MVP looking good in game number 1. They did secure the win, and we'll see if they can take it into a 2-0 shutout. The draft is underway. It was a pretty quick break. Let's hop straight into it. So, what are we looking at here? It was an Invoker Timbersaw banned out by MVP Phoenix, Marana, and Nyx Assassin. This was actually a first pick, Tony Slark, and oh, Nature's Prophet, look, you're in this game.
Radiant
How
team
brilliant.
banned.
Nature's Prophet. Crystal Maiden, the first two choices from 5NQ, and oh no, their team profile didn't make it into this game. How very unfortunate for 5NQ, but it is them nonetheless. So, a little bit of Rat Dota coming out here. Nature's Prophet ready to rock and roll.
Dire team ban.
And Crystal Maiden, pretty well-rounded draft to get things started on both sides. Slark is a little bit hit or miss, and I'm a little bit curious to see how MVP Phoenix will opt to lane this Slark. Every team seems to have their own
10 seconds remaining.
just their own way that they like to use Slark. He truly is a diverse hero. He
5
works
seconds
okay as a
remaining.
position 1 hard farmer. He works okay as an off laner, and I've even
Reserve
seen him
time.
do okay solo mid. It's not so common these days, but it happens, folks. It happens. So a lot of options there for the Slark, and, well, Visage. Can't go wrong with Visage as well, though. So far today, we've seen 2 games, and Visage has been on the tail end of both of them. Rather unfortunate for the undead flying
Radiant
bird.
team
Still a
banned.
great support, but unfortunately he has not been able to squeak out some wins today. Interesting third ban coming out from MVP Phoenix. They do take out the Ancient Apparition as well as Outworld Devourer with their fourth ban. The OD makes sense.
10
AA,
seconds remaining.
interesting. He's not a bad hero, but he really
5
only
seconds
works in
remaining.
niche lineups. One of the great things about AA is his anti-push. A very difficult
Reserve
hero to
time.
push into. And, I mean, he has some scouting tools about the map. He works well with a, kind of a global strategy that I suppose Nature's Prophet could be gearing up towards. But all in all, I don't value AA as a particularly scary hero. I don't know how well he would have fit into this lineup from 5NQ, but perhaps MVP Phoenix have something up their sleeve. 5NQ will take some time here with their fourth ban. They want to be very cautious not to hand over MVP's big choice here. Hard to say what they're considering at the moment, though. A very open-ended draft, like I said. A lot of options it could, or a lot of ways it could still unfold. Same with the Nature's Prophet as well. He's, of course, regarded as the off-laner, but a very versatile choice as well. Nature's Prophet mid is never something that you can cross off the table because, well, it's viable. It's not as bad as some folks would have you believe. Now, Luna has been banned out here. A smart choice from 5NQ, although they did lose with the Luna last game. I like the choice to ban out the Nyx Assassin. He is one hero that works very well against
Radiant
Nature's
team
Prophet.
pick.
Does slow down that Rat Dota quite a bit, especially once Nyx hits that level 11 mark. That's when Nature's Prophet really struggles to try to deal with that Vendetta when he's ratting it up. Rat. Rubik will be their fourth ban. Another interesting choice. Always he's a well-rounded support, but an interesting choice
10
here
seconds remaining.
for one of their bans. Very curious how this draft will continue to
5
unfold.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, I see in chat. AA does
Reserve time.
he does work well against Slark. That's absolutely true. When he has the ult on, it stops health regeneration. But that's absolutely true. AA is considered sort of a counter to Slark, but almost not enough because AA is so squishy.
Radiant team
I don't like it. I don't think it's a hard enough counter to try and deal with the Slark. The setup is still difficult. Slark is still very elusive. I mean, AA would have been all right here, but still, I don't know. A lot of teams don't really opt. It's not a hard counter like you see a Slark, you have to pick AA into it. It's a hero that has an ability that works well against Slark, but I certainly would not label it a hard carry. But at least we can understand where the ban is coming from. Shout out to Twitch
10
chat, keeping me on my
seconds
toes.
remaining.
Again, there is no delay on the stream. Compliments of casting land.
5
So I do have my
seconds
chat
remaining.
open. Hard to read and talk simultaneously. But, well, I'm keeping tabs on what you guys are doing.
Reserve time.
It's a rare treat for me to be able to cast without the delay server on, so I'm trying to keep tabs on what you guys are saying. Again, as always, if there are audio issues, imbalances, make use of the Twitch chat, and I will do my best to tend to it, as it is a one-man show tonight, doing the camera, doing the casting, and also doing the production. Oh yeah, one-man band.
10 seconds remaining.
So Lifestealer, the third pick here for MVP Phoenix.
5
Obviously, their
seconds
hard
remaining.
carry choice. Would be nice to see them grab some sort of a delivery vehicle. Storm Spirit would have been pretty solid. Even a Nature's Prophet would have worked pretty well. Puck, still an option. Something that the Lifestealer can infest for some keen initiation. I actually think Puck would not be a bad choice for MVP Phoenix, though. As they say, you can't go wrong with a Puck pick. There's really few lineups where I think I would say, oh, Puck, what a terrible choice. Maybe if there's already a TA on the field. That might be the one time where I would say, what are you thinking with that Puck pick? But a well-rounded pick all around. So it could be something they utilize here. Sand King will be the choice for 5 and Q as their second support. And, of course, they did third pick the Storm Spirit there, who presumably will be
Reserve time.
their mid-hero, though it could also be a Position 1 Storm, something that we've seen a fair bit recently. With Sand King and Crystal Maiden, a lot of kill potential for an aggressive tri-lane, if that's what 5 and Q are going for. They could pick kind of an aggressive Position 1 and try and secure some easy kills. But there's that fourth pick, Puck, I was talking about. A smart choice from MVP Phoenix. You need something to deliver that Lifestealer. A Timber Saw works pretty well, though, of course, he's been banned out. Lifestealer Slark, I don't really count the Pounce as a delivery vehicle, so to speak. There's something wrong with the audio. I can't hear Nature's Prophet commentary. If I could do a good Nature's Prophet voice, I would try it, but unfortunately, I don't even know what Nature's Prophet sounds like. What is a classic Nature's Prophet line?
Radiant team pick.
Final bans, Naga Siren and Shadow Demon are taken out of the pool here. Shadow Demon, a support that these teams like, but I'm not a big fan.
I speak for the trees.
There you go. Well said, Nature's Prophet. I totally agree.
I summon the forces of nature.
Oh, well, fabulous in that case. So anyhow, Gyrocopter, the final choice for 5 and Q. And let's see. Pretty well-rounded draft. Gyrocopter is an aggressive support that works really well right here. Gyrocopter has some of the highest damage output in the early game for a hard carry. So I do like that choice. A very well-rounded draft. They've got a lot of damage, a lot of disable as well, and also some push with that Nature's Prophet. Now, MVP Phoenix will opt for an Alchemist with their final pick. This will indeed be a support Alchemist, which is interesting. We haven't seen a lot of support Alchemist play since the nerf that he received in 6.8. He's still viable. He's still very powerful, but Unstable Concoction, it's just a shadow of its former self. It used to be pretty imbalanced, still not disjointable. It will chase you across the map. Still does a fair bit of damage, especially when paired with some minus armor, but I'm honestly not the biggest fan. It seems recently most of the teams that run Alchemist have not been too successful. It's still viable, but not necessarily the choice that I would have made here. They did need somebody with some stun. Shadow Shaman actually would have worked out pretty well here. He has a pretty high degree of crowd control. But going for that physical, going for some minus armor to pair with the Lifestealer, I see what they're going with. And, well, hopefully it works out for him. But time will tell. Great drafts across the board, but I have to admit, I like this 5 and Q draft a little bit better. I think it's more well-rounded. They've got pretty keen initiation with that Storm Spirit. They've got a great tri-lane with this Gyrocopter, Crystal Maiden, and Sand King, and Nature's Prophet. Well, my co-caster here, you can't go wrong. And we're happy to see it. Oh, look, he's got an orchid, too. Look at that big old flower. That's nice. What is that? The Flower Staff of the Peacebringer. Oh, how nice. I wouldn't label Furion as a Peacebringer per se, but how nice. That's beautiful to see. We will see a 5-man grouping from MVP Phoenix, though, as they do move into the Radiant Jungle, and this could be a level 1 battle. They've got a pretty solid level 1 team here. Alchemist is a great level 1 hero, and, well, so is Gyrocopter, but they will move into the jungle here. They throw down a sentry to block this spawn. Interesting choice. And perhaps they'll throw down a ward here as well to block the pole camp. Uh-oh, Visage needs to be a little bit careful perhaps. There we go. We'll throw down that observer ward. And they're going to block this camp as well. So it appears that MVP are under the assumption that it will be a Nature's Prophet moving into the jungle earlier rather than later, and they will block those camps to make his life a little bit more difficult. But I don't know. I don't know how big of a deal that's going to be. I think this Nature's Prophet is going to be laning long enough that blocking these two hard camps won't really come in handy all that much, but we'll see. So they do have vision down right here outside of the pole camp. Right now, no sentries have gone down to try and counter-ward it. Crystal Maiden does have a couple of sentries, though, sitting in the inventory, so I'm sure they will try on that front. Interestingly enough, no observers down for our Radiant side. That is 5 and Q. Again, they did miss their tag somehow in this game, but they have yet to put down their observer wards. So no rune control, not a lot of vision coming their way. Alchemist will use this to his advantage as he rotates around the side. This ward actually is too far out of the side, does not block the pole camp. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. But they've got this ward down very close to where that spawn box would be. So if that was intentional, it's an interesting choice. It does give them some valuable vision, so it's not a bad ward. But of course, if their goal was to block the pole camp to stop lane control, then that was a bit of a fail ward right there. Unfortunately, we see a pain coming down as a ward does get dropped, and well, they may try and take it out. They will use this ward to their advantage at least a little bit. Pull over, and, well, they pull the creep wave. Kind of an awkward bit of lane control as these creeps shove into the tower. And I'm going to have to turn up my Dota sounds because I can't hear the... There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So this mid lane, Puck versus Storm Spirit, a relatively even mid matchup. All things equal, should be a pretty straightforward matchup. Neither side should be able to secure too easy a kill. Puck might be able to grab a kill once he hits level 6 if he does have an edge. But meanwhile, down bottom, Gyrocopter in big trouble. They use the slows. The Unstable Concoction connects, and the open wounds come out. They just don't have the damage to finish off the Gyrocopter. They will turn it around, trying for the Alchemist, but they don't have the damage to secure the kill. Level 1 Gyrocopter still. Only Rocket Barrage. He can do a surprising amount of burst damage with that ability, not to be underestimated. But MVP putting the hurt on already. Relatively even farm across the carries. We see Lifestealer sitting 7 and 2 against the 5 and 0 Gyrocopter. An even spread so far, but it seems Lifestealer does have some dominance in this lane. The Visage Alchemist support duo is very aggressive, and CMSK is aggressive as well, but I'm not the biggest fan of Sand King right now. Mostly because of that Burrow Strike. In the early levels, it has such a small range. I think there are some supports that can be a little bit more aggressive than he. And he doesn't really provide too much control. But we'll see. This pull is being utilized still. MVP will move in and use the Radiant creeps to help clear out the camp. And then they will pull the lane back once again for more lane control. So, again, they're just going to fortify the dire structures. I don't know what this is all about, but they will fort for good measure. Good luck charm, perhaps. Ooh, Puck will grab a 2-minute rune. The regen. The focus on this bottom lane, 6 out of 10 heroes down here in the bottom. This is where the action's going to happen. They actually engage on the Lifestealer. He's only level 2. He does not have rage. That'll be the first blood coming out. It's Sand King to grab the bonus gold. Wow, they're going to catch him with his pants around his ankles. And this Lifestealer takes a spill. No point in rage going that more greedy build. They wanted to secure first blood with the open wounds. And that lack of rage means you have to play that a little bit more defensively. You can't get caught that far forward against a tri-lane as aggressive as the one that 5 and Q are running. A big misplay coming out from March right there. And, well, he takes an untimely spill to get things started. Curious about the opening builds here from these carries. Will this be a Midas game, or will this be a more mid-game oriented build where both sides will opt for probably that phase boots, armlet on the Lifestealer most likely, and even just a fast BKB on Gyrocopter is not a bad way to go. Mid still looking relatively even. The lane we haven't talked about whatsoever is this top lane. It is a Nature's Prophet versus the safe lane Slark. Slark sitting level 5. He is 25 and 7 against the 8 and 0 Nature's Prophet. This is the big disparity lane. And looking at the gold graph, MVP with about a 750 gold lead, around a 900 experience lead, and a lot of that is coming from Tony Slark up there in the top lane. We'll hold that thought though. Is down bottom. Sagan does have an invisibility rune on, looking for initiation here. March is now level 3, does have that point in rage, so it'll be a lot harder to lock down this Lifestealer. but they may still find an opening. Plenty of time left on this invisibility rune. They'll go for it. There's the rage coming out, and Lifestealer does walk back to safety, or does he? Nature's Prophet ports down to join the fray. Sprout comes out. The trees get cut through. Slark's here. He will pounce forward. The leash does connect on top of the Nature's Prophet. Sand King comes in. They finish off the Visage. Oh, that Orb of Venom doing a little bit of work right here. Nature's Prophet looking to pour it out. He does juke the Slark. Unfortunately, he does not make it out. The creeps finish him. Meanwhile, all this is happening. Puck as well as the Storm Spirit. We're going toe-to-toe, but it's not over yet. Lifestealer takes a lot of damage here. He will be able to get the rage off. Tony Slark still in the mix, and the Dream Coil flies as well. That's where this engage will settle down. Now, meanwhile, in the mid, Puck did get picked off by the Storm Spirit while all this was happening. They're going to try and land a kill, perhaps, on this Sand King. Not too much time left inside the Sandstorm. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. He's dead. Oh, Sand King, nowhere for him to go right there. They were just waiting for it. Alchemist will stun himself, but that's all right. He's just gearing up to throw the concoction. So, a 3-2 exchange here, and putting a small dent in the Gold Graph. Still MVP holding on to their experiencing gold lead. Storm Spirit grabbing that kill is great news for 5-Q. Looks like he is going to press forward for perhaps a quick Orchid with that fast Robe of the Magi. And that will slow down Puck a little bit. He is now sitting level 6. I do apologize for missing that one, but we can only catch so many kills at once as chaos does erupt.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's
So,
middle tower
looking at
is
the net
under
worth chart
attack.
here, Slark really is the big breadwinner. He's had virtual free farm against the Nature's Prophet, which is sort of a twofold win here. And speak of the devil, Slark up top is putting the hurt on Nature's Prophet. NP will try and pour it out. There is no Dark Pact, so no burst damage for the Slark.
Dire's
And
top
Nature's
tower
Prophet
is
will
under
make it out. I
attack.
like the choice to grab the Orb of Venom. Did help out a little bit in that last exchange. That extra bit of damage actually may have been the difference between a kill or that
Dire's
Nature's
middle
Prophet getting
tower
away,
is
as the
under
creeps
attack.
did finish him off before he was able to pour it out with about 12 hit points to spare. I like the choice from Slark up against the Nature's Prophet. There is incoming gank from MVP down here in the bottom. Puck is starting to fall behind a little bit compared to the Storm Spirit. About 2.1k on the net worth chart versus the 2.5 of the Storm Spirit. Looking for some recovery. We see Heen with a Dream Coil ready and a double damage in the bottle. He's hungry for blood, and who's going to give it to him? Illusory Orb behind the tower.
Dire's
Puck
middle
will not
tower
hop to
is
it.
under attack.
Somebody get this Fairy Dragon a sandwich. Meanwhile, though, Slark in complete free farm heaven as Nature's Prophet, recognizing he can no longer lane against the
Dire's
Slark,
middle tower
is forced
is
to move
under
into the
attack.
jungle. And, well, those wards, as I mentioned, really didn't come in handy. Yeah, they blocked some of the spawns, but Nature's Prophet stayed in the lane before they went down, so didn't really have a big impact on his farm. He will pick up those phase boots, but this Nature's Prophet has been kept down. If he's going to go for a Midas, it will be a recovery Midas.
Radiant's top
Still
tower is
not too
under
close
attack.
to picking it up. There are now 4 heroes on the Radiant side down bottom, so this cataclysmic engage could become a reality. The zip forward, looking for the Lifestealer. He'll rage in time before the Vortex comes out, and he will walk back to the tower. 5-Q need to make something happen here with 4 down bottom. This is a lot invested. A zip forward, but now Storm Spirit's out of mana. They're able to drop the Visage before the fight starts. But Slark ports in, and he will do a lot of damage to this Gyrocopter. He pounces forward. It does leash, and they secure the kill. A 1-for-1, but it's a support for the hard carry. MVP will be happy with that exchange. Slark, he's not done yet. He pounces forward. No mana, no ultimate available. Won't be able to secure a kill. Meanwhile, Puck is coming around the backside. Does have a Dream Coil available. He'll burn it on a solo Crystal Maiden. Scratch that. That's a Crystal Feedin'. She'll get taken out by the Illusory Orb. A port in from the Gyrocopter. Now Slark in trouble. No, it will be the Lifestealer who's in trouble. He takes a couple of the of the damage coming out from the Rocket Barrage. It cost him his life, but maybe bought Slark the time he needed to survive. Nature's Prophet ports in, but he ain't got no damage. Tony Slark pounces back to safety, and it ends up being a 5-for-4 engage. So kind of messy on both sides. The Gyrocopter falls, but he comes back to the battle and does secure a kill onto the Lifestealer. But oh no, Gyrocopter, you're in big trouble, buddy. Puck is on top of you. He's got an invisibility rune on. No Dream Coil available, so this won't be the easiest kill. Gyrocopter may be suspicious. There's the Alchemist charging a concoction. Does connect with the Gyro. Oh no, the Illusory Orb off the mark. Now Puck possibly in some trouble. Forced to hop to the orb into the trees. And no port available. Heen nowhere to go. He didn't have any option, and that will be a disaster. It backfires, and 5-Q capitalize as they secure the kill on the Fairy Dragon. They will do a 4-man smoke, pardon me, as they press out of the tower, as Slark is the target they find. He will pounce out the Dark Pact to cleanse, and he survives as he makes it back to the tower. Meanwhile, Lifestealer has rotated to the top lane, and he is trying to make some recovery farm. Phase Boot into Drum of Endurance will be his build of choice. Not going for the Hand of Midas that we were considering. Meanwhile, Nature's Prophet in the mid lane, sitting on Phase Boots. Still not sure if he'll grab a Midas himself, but whoa! Meanwhile, down in the bottom lane, more action coming about. Slark taking a lot of damage. He does manage to get the ult off, but the call down and the epicenter, they finish off Tony Slark despite being stuck in the ultimate. You don't need detection if you've got enough AoE damage. Now the Visage still in trouble. They dive the tower just a pinch, but they secure the kill. MVP, they had the lead, but now they're starting to throw it away. The aggressive potential from 5 and Q really starting to shine. Alchemist now maybe in some trouble. The double damage. Crystal Maiden comes in, but she does not grab the kill. Well, Gyrocopter has now recovered. He is the leading farmer on net worth. Sand King, the big breadwinner in terms of last hits. 5-1-1. He's been involved in 6 of the 8 kills on the field, which is, needless to say, great news for 5 and Q. Sand King is a hero that works pretty well against Mr. Slark. As AoE damage, well, it still goes through his ultimate. You might not be able to see him or focus or target him, but boy, can you still do some damage if you've got the AoE. And look at this Sand King. He's been able to pick up so many kills that he's got an 11-minute blink at only level 7. That's great. That's huge. It's very infrequent. You see this little Scorpion with enough farm that he's able to grab a timely blink, and this is going to be difficult for Team MVP. They've still got a small gold lead. The experience graph now going in favor of 5 and Q, but the blink epicenter can be very difficult to deal with. March, you need to be careful, buddy. He will go ahead and infest a creep here. SK ports to the top, and this tower will go down. Whether it's a deny or a kill is the question. Lifestealer pops out of the creep, rages, grabs the last hits, and Singleton last hit, and ports out. Well done by the Lifestealer. Secures the tower kill and survives to tell the tale. I like that play. He manned up, and he made it happen. Did the math. Had plenty of time on the rage. Very well done. Made it look easy. Oh, Puck, we see some pings coming out. He's in trouble. Sand King with the Burrow Strike to start it off. Storm Spirit hops forward, and they secure the kill. Slark, the next target of choice, but he will pounce to the low ground, and he survives. So they get a free kill on the Puck. Still a good play from the Lifestealer, but their Puck takes yet another spill. The Storm Spirit was really a smart choice here in this match, as MVP don't have a huge amount of crowd control. They've got the silence from Puck, which is big. They've got the stun from Alchemist and the Familiars, but not a lot of crowd control to deal with this Storm. And right now, he's kind of running amok. He's level 10. Puck is only level 8. The fact that he's been able to grab a couple of kills on the Puck already is absolutely huge. Gyrocopter in big trouble down bottom. A call down gets popped, but it's just not enough. Both cooldowns connect with these two heroes, but yeah, hasted Slark. Ooh, that's pretty scary. So, Gyrocopter takes a spill, and that will make it 9-5 as MVP grab another one onto the board, and maybe Sand King could be their next target as they press forward. Both Alchemist and Visage need some experience to hit level 6, and Visage actually grabbing 6 after that kill. Familiars are on the field. That'll make things easier here. They finish off the Sand King, and that will be a 2-0. Alchemist now also going to be level 6. He'll hit Chemical Rage. That is a big turning point for MVP. I almost said MLG. MVP. And they will secure their second tower kill of the game. That will be 2-0 in total tower kills. March, keeping it steady in the mid lane, will try and defend the incoming push from 5 and Q. Some ports coming in into the trees, as it is a 3-man push. The Infest bomb as March presses forward. And Frostbite comes out. Open wounds on the Storm Spirit, but the follow-up isn't quite there. Wrath of Nature flies. Some damage coming on these two, but there's a wraparound inbound. Slark as well as the Puck are coming around the backside. Meanwhile, the tower is taking heavy pressure. Here comes the dive from Storm Spirit. Rage comes out from the Lifestealer once again. The tower does fall. Oh, nice disjoint coming out from the Storm Spirit. And Slark, he will hop forward. The pounce does leash on top of Storm. Still not the best target you want to go for. He will have enough mana to zip away. Meanwhile, near the tier 2 tower, the Alchemist taking some damage. Does have Chemical Rage on. Will be able to survive for now. Visage Familiars come in. There's a stun on the Gyrocopter. Back and forth exchange, but it seems MVP will become the victors. Lifestealer and Puck pick off the Storm Spirit and Crystal Maiden on the backside while the rest of the team gets split. 5 and Q, they have the 5v5 team fight edge, but if they get split like that, it's not going to work for him. Sand King makes the great escape. Meanwhile, on the back, Nature's Prophet gets picked off. It ends up being a 4-for-1 as they find a recovery kill on the Fairy Dragon. Great plays from MVP. That ended up being a split fight. They had 3 on the back, and then the wraparound that we saw at the beginning of, and the wraparound is what split up that team fight potential. The worst thing you can do against this 5-Q roster is group up. If you make for an easy epicenter, make for an easy set of call downs or flak cannon, rocket barrage, that's your ticket to having a bad time. But MVP split that fight up, and they do come out the victors. They'll back up with their spoils. Now a 4,000 gold lead, 3,000 experience. The Lifestealer regaining his seat as the #1 farmer on the net worth chart, and he is looking to be in good shape. Handamitis has finally come out for the Nature's Prophet, right around the 14-minute mark, a very untimely Handamitis, so I think it's safe to call that a recovery Midas coming out for the NP, and it'll be a little while before that Bad Daddy kicks in. Other item progression, Gyrocopter going another very greedy build, having a little deja vu to that last game that 5-Q did with their Luna. Virtually the same build, the early Helm of the Dominator. It's not a bad choice if you can dominate a creep and start stacking Ancients. This time, MVP have not blocked their Ancients, which is good news. They can stack, and that's great for Gyrocopter, but still an exceptionally greedy build. It doesn't give him a lot of sustainability here in the early levels versus something like rushing a fast BKB. If they want a team fight, you may want to consider a different opening build. They will smoke into the mid lane. Puck. Oh, Fairy Dragon Puck. He just can't catch a break. He'll take yet another spill as that smoke is successful. They're really doing a good job keeping this Fairy Dragon down. Puck 2, 5, and 2. Not good. Not good for old Puck there. He does have his phase boots up, working on the Blink Dagger. No doubt about 800 in the bank. It's a third of the way there. Still not too close. Lifestealer going a much more team, I don't want to say team fight oriented, but mid-game oriented build. Phase into drums, and then of course we'll be going for that armlet complement of the Helm of Iron Will. Glyph used by the Dire side as MVP. Do want to make a hold at this top tier 1 tower, or at least look for a deny opportunity. Visage is inbound, and perhaps some supports will come in. Total tower count is 2-1 in favor of MVP right now, and it will be Puck that ports in. Meanwhile, Alchemist just clearing out an Ancient stack, using that acid spray, getting himself a little pick-me-up. Now sitting level 8, that is great news. He will be the mech carrier for MVP, has that buckler already in tow, and should have that mech up before too long. Tony Slark now with a Claymore. He'll be working towards a Shadow Blade. It's safe to assume, and that armlet is already up on the Lifestealer. So the core items are starting to pop out for MVP, and still haven't seen too many on the side of 5-Q. Nature's Prophet, pardon me, Storm Spirit is the hero that I wanted to talk about. Working towards an Orchid, does have the first Oblivion staff and about 1,000 gold in the bank. Not the fastest Orchid timing we've seen. 17 minutes in, only about halfway there. Not bad, but also not good. If he could have gotten a fast Orchid, perhaps he could have been a little bit more aggressive here, but now Slark has the Shadow Blade up. He'll use it to engage on the Storm Spirit. As always, not the ideal target you want to go on, as even if you connect with the pounce, he can still zip around while still leashed. Slark will hop forward once again, does a bit of damage, and well, will be forced to back out and blink forward. And then the Burrow Strike. There's the epicenter, almost for a solo Visage. They do finish off Visage's Storm Spirit, zips forward, but March on the Lifestealer looking to pursue on the Storm Spirit. Meanwhile, Slark has, or not Storm Spirit, pardon me, the Gyrocopter. Slark looking to engage on the Storm Spirit. He bottles up a double damage rune. Will be able to sip that bottle to get a bit of extra mana, and I think that will ensure the Storm Spirit survival. Ends up just being a 1-for-0 exchange. 5-Q grab themselves a kill on the Visage, and they keep all 5 of theirs alive. They did burn that epicenter cooldown now, so MVP can feel a little bit more safe trying to push this tier 1 tower perhaps. But, yeah, small stroke of luck there for the Storm Spirit, grabbing a double damage rune as he makes the tree. Down here in the bottom lane, we'll see Nature's Prophet trying to teleport out, and it's not going to happen. Visage finishes him off with one last nuke as Tony Slark hops into the front lines. The rest of MVP pressuring the tier 1 tower in mid, and Lifestealer will be forced back. He's already burned the Rage, the Blink forward, the Burrow Strike just off the mark. Open wounds for good measure, and Lifestealer makes it out. A close call, though. That Burrow Strike almost on the mark, just falling short. One of the reasons not the biggest fan of Sand King. Of course, it is max range now, but unfortunately just not enough. All the while, this Alchemist still just playing around with the Ancients, all of them low. He will grab a few more last hits. Visage will join him as well. He's got a Medallion of Courage up already, and will most likely be working towards that Ag Scepter as his next core item. Mech Recipe has now been picked up on the Alchemist, and his Buckler is on the way, just working on that headdress. Interestingly enough, it seems that 5 and Q are just not too interested in getting a mech. I'm not sure what it is, but yeah, not a great mech carrier here, but mech versus no mech is always a disparity that you need to be watchful for, and they seem to have no interest in picking up that item early here. Gyrocopter will be moving towards his BKB. Does have those 2 core items, the Mithril Hammer and Ogre Club, and we'll have that recipe before too long with about 900 gold in the bank. And there was another big item pickup that I wanted to mention. And, oh, it's the Orchid. Look at that. Storm Spirit does have those Oblivion staves, and now he's got himself the recipe sitting in the bank. So that will make his life a little bit easier. Initiation power. The great thing about having Alchemist as a support in a game like this, where it has been rather aggressive, but there has been some time to sit back and farm, Alchemist can eventually transition from a support to a carry, and that will give MVP kind of a carry edge as this game goes on. Gyrocopter is definitely a hard carry, but you know, Alchemist paired with the Lifestealer can be a scary duo if this goes late enough and farm allows. Hell, even Slark will start to be kind of a hard carry as well as this game continues. But both teams do seem comfortable just backing up, playing this a little bit more defensive and getting those core items up. Nature's Prophet now, he is working towards a Shadow Blade. Does have the Claymore, and there's the Shadow Amulet. He will complete it, so that Hand of Midas has kicked in, and he's going for the Space Creator build here. Interesting choice. Now we will see Tony Slark with the surprise inside. He is infested, and will Shadow Blade looking for an opening here. Walks past the Storm Spirit Illusion. And won't find anyone too soon. Will pounce to the high ground. Of course, that ward did scout him out. This bad daddy right here. And we'll see Nature's Prophet just poured out to safety. That ward saving his life. The $1 million ward right there. A noble effort from the Slark and Lifestealer, but unfortunately they won't find the opening they're looking for. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, a smoke has been used. Alchemist very close to the mech now. And both teams will just kind of disengage, go back to farming. Lifestealer still just hanging out inside that taxi right now. Hopped inside the Slark, just looking for it. Trying to bait, it seems, hoping someone will go for the Slark, but 5 and Q are just so much more preoccupied with getting theirs, getting their own farm. BKB is now up on the Gyrocopter, and I think MVP would be well advised to try and block this spawn. They will finally get a ward down. There we go. That's what they needed. Again, I contend in that last game, that was one of the big disparities that got their snowball rolling. They blocked their opponent's Ancients very early on, and that made it so difficult for that Lunar to find any recovery. Here at the 22-minute mark, they haven't paid much attention to the Ancients, but they will finally block it, and that will start to slow down Gyrocopter. He has started to pull ahead a little bit, but MVP have been using their Ancients as well. The difference is, instead of giving it to the carry, they've been giving it to Alchemist because, well, he is their Ancient farmer. So still utilizing it, and having that mech online now will help them in this next team fight, as I've already mentioned a couple of times. Nature's Prophet still yet to really do much with the Shadow Blade, but he has it online, and whoa, are we going to see an engage here? 5 and Q. They caught a whiff of that MVP scent as they make the retreat, and they will survive. So, no sentries down yet. I don't know that 5 and Q have noticed that their Ancients are blocked, but we'll prevent a couple of Ancient spawns at least. Not a bad time to fight, though. Level 11 Gyrocopter. He does have that level 2 cooldown for more AoE damage. The BKB as well. This is a good opportunity for 5 and Q if they want to force an engage. Again, that mech will make it a little bit more difficult, but if they're looking for a fight, this might be a good time. Puck with the surprise inside. We'll move into the Roche pit. We see some pings coming out, but wards have been cleared out. A lot of sentries down, but no observers. This would be a very risky Roche if that's what MVP want to go for here. Perhaps just trying to bait it out. We see actually the courier flying around here. Oh, Slark, he's invisible. Doesn't see the Nature's Prophet. And zip zap. Storm Spirit gets away as well. MVP looking to be the aggressors. They've been looking for opportunities to set up a gank, but I have to admit, 5 and Q have done a great job avoiding the fights, and they have been doing well with their map awareness, their map control, and any time that this Tony Slark moves around to try to use that Shadow Blade, the targets that are inbound do pour it out in time, and they've avoided death a number of times already. Lifestealer going for a very classic build here, though. Armlet now into the Skull Basher. He's reasonably close to picking that up and will eventually turn into an Abyssal Blade, no doubt about it. All smart choices here. Can't say I'm complaining too much. Abyssal Blade, a good choice against a BKB carrier like the Gyrocopter. And Bash, always a good item on the Lifestealer. Storm working towards a BKB of his own, it seems. He does have an Ogre Club now to go with that Orchid. Glance at the gold graph here, see how things are going. A small farm advantage for 5 and Q, but not too significant. About 1,000 gold, 500 experience or so. We've got a very even game on our hands as both teams have been comfortable to retreat back to farming. Slark also working on a BKB. It seems to just be a game of BKBs. Both sides are not so eager to fight until those Black King bars are up. And, well, that will very soon be a reality. Slark only about 600 off the recipe. Nature's Prophet still continuing to farm. Now has that Necronomicon inbound. Oh, does get one familiar. Not going to find the other.
Pull roots and run.
And get himself the second familiar. Well done, Nature's Prophet. Well done. That is his Necronomicon now. So level 1 Necro book out here on the old Nature's Prophet. That is good news. For 5 and Q at least. Puck has a Blink Dagger, which he's had for some time now. Has had the Power Treads and can start working towards that Sheep Stick. Nothing surprising about that, that Puck build. Visage, slowly but surely, moving towards the point... he has the point booster, moving towards the Ag Scepter. Again, no big surprise about that. I would like to say there's a small edge going the way of MVP in this static farming lineup because they have an Alchemist paired with the Lifestealer, but unfortunately they don't have the Midas. So the Midas on the side of Phoenix, or on 5 and Q, gives them a little bit of an edge in this static freeform environment. We see Nature's Prophet slowly sliding his way to the top in this gold graph as there has not been a kill in quite some while, just slowly but surely moving in favor of our Radiant side. They have slightly better farming about the map. They have a sentry down now that did take out the ward that was blocking their Ancient, so they can at least start stacking again, which is good news, though I like that MVP are finally putting some pressure on the Ancients and not giving them just free roam with that section of the map. Slark being very sneaky here is inside the Roche. They will smoke up around the Roche pit. And I think, are they going to try and sneak a Roche? No, they are just going to move through the river. And they're looking for an opportunity to kill. Puck with the surprise inside. They will head down towards the bottom lane. Puck with a haste rune on. Whoever was down there did pour it out. We see some pings coming. They're going to check the hard camp. And then they will rotate to the mid, it would seem. Oh, they need to be careful here. Oh, Sand King, he'll burn his blink. How unfortunate. He'll get dropped like he's hot. Nothing he can do about it. This tier 1 tower in the mid is still alive, but they will pursue. They're going to charge straight through it. Call down comes. Buyback from Sand King. BKB popped on the Gyrocopter. This could be bad news bears for MVP. Lifestealer falls, and it's not over yet. Puck hops to the low ground. He survives to tell the tale. Visage goes down, but now Slark has joined the fray. He picks off the Nature's Prophet, and now the Gyrocopter's in big trouble. He's got no BKB. Slark's able to pick him off. It's a 2-for-3 exchange. Slark not out of the clear quite yet. Epicenter not being charged. Slark's still alive for now, but he's in no man's land. He's got no mana, but there's just no follow-up. Puck is here. They want this Sand King. Will they get him? Perhaps not. It will cost Puck his life, but at what cost? It will be a Storm Spirit. Sand King, there's the Epicenter. Will finally finish off the Slark. Crystal Maiden now back in action. Wants this Alchemist, but I don't know that she's going to find it. Chemical Rage is on. Even if she gets the disable here, he should be able to regen through. Talk about a chaotic fight. I think MVP have the small edge right there, but it was pretty back and forth. There were no buybacks used. Pardon me. No, the Sand King did buy back at the beginning of that fight. So that is definitely a victory for MVP right there. They get the better of the exchange, and they force a buyback coming out from the Sand King. Unfortunately for SK, he's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Oh boy, burning his Blink Dagger and then just getting jumped on. That's exactly what MVP were waiting for. And we see that dip in the gold graph now moving more into their favor. Still a very even game on their hands. Tony Slark now taking over as that #1 farmer. Sand King, always a good target to start on as well. If you can shut him down before he can Epicenter and blink in, oh, that is so good. If the other way happens, that is a recipe for a bad team fight. So well done by MVP. Following that fight now, we'll see Lifestealer go ahead and pick up his Skull Basher, so he's now got some stun procs coming in. We see a Vlad's picked up by Alchemist, a smart choice here. They've got a very heavy melee lineup, and that lifesteal will come in handy, as will the armor and the damage aura. Vlad's, in my opinion, a little bit of an underrated item, and I'm glad to see Alch picking it up here. Now that Alch is 13, this is really that time when Alchemist will start to transition into a little bit more of a carry. He's got 3 points in Grievel's Greed, and the more that 5 and Q let MVP sit back and farm, the more this Alchemist will start to come online. And based on the build he's going for here, this kind of aura-based Alch, I have a feeling it will be an Assault Cuirass as his first big item coming up after the Vlad's offering. Puck with a surprise inside. Oh, Nature's Prophet, you poured it into the danger zone, buddy. He does survive to tell the tale. Compliments of that Shadow Blade. Even the Dream Coil is burned. Unfortunately, they can't finish him off, and he will have a small stroke of luck. Storm Spirit now has his BKB complete, as does Slark. So that last fight, there was a singleton BKB on the field, and there are now 3. That will make this next team fight a little bit more interesting. Gyrocopter has his down to 9 seconds, but still quite potent. It appears Gyro is working towards an MKB, so going for the all-out raw damage build. Demon Edge in the first Javelin already picked up. And, uh-oh, Slark, you're in trouble. He'll get Orchided. Not going to be able to ult. They also burned the Epicenter to finish him off, so a lot of those cooldown, well, not a lot, but they use Epicenter as well as the Orchid and shut down that Slark completely. Now, perhaps 5 and Q can pressure this Tier 2 tower in the mid lane as Slark, oh, he's taking a nap in the grave. So 5 and Q will start chipping away at this Tier 2 tower. In comes the Sand King, and oh man. They will hop on top of that. Glyph comes out, and they will start to back up here. They want to be a little bit careful. Even though Slark is down, there's still plenty of teamfight potential from MVP. We see Alchemist was actually charging a concoction, did stun himself, poor guy. And meanwhile, Lifestealer is just farming away, happy as a clam in free farm heaven. Nature's Prophet gearing up in the top lane for a little bit of Rat Dota. Does have a level 2 Necro Book and the recipe for level 3 sitting in the bag. Start coming out in just about 5 seconds here, but he won't be up fast enough to defend this Tier 2 tower in the mid lane. They go for the deny, but unfortunately off the mark. And 5 and Q secure another tower kill. That takes the total tower count now 4-2 in favor of our Radiant side. They still have the last remaining Tier 1 tower, which is this bad boy here in the mid lane. Meanwhile, up top, this Tier 2 tower under heavy pressure. MVP do want to defend, though. Looking for an opening here. Slark in the front lines. They do use the Orchid on Puck, but Storm Spirit hops very far forward. Call down used right in the middle of the fray. Puck is the first to fall. Alchemist pops the mech, but he's still taking heavy damage. Now he goes down. It will get turned around on the Storm Spirit. He'll fall. Visage gets taken out as well. It's a 1 for 3, but it's not over yet. The BKB is down on Gyrocopter. Slark looking to pursue. He'll secure the kill. And the Sand King, he's in trouble now as the Pounce leeches. Oh no, it's now a 3 for 3. 5 and Q were able to do a fair bit of damage, but not on the heroes that count. MVP still have their 2 big hitters alive, and they clean it up. Meanwhile, Nature's Prophet, oh, you dirty co-caster, you rat, Dota-ing, that Tier 2 tower down bottom, but he will be repelled. He's working towards an Orchid of his own, it seems, an Oblivion Staff sitting in the bank. He gets repelled. It ends up being a 3 for 3 exchange. And I don't know. I mean, the top Tier 2 tower did fall, so that is something for 5 and Q in terms of raw gold exchange there. But MVP do clean it up well, and again, they get the kills on the heroes that count. Slark and Lifestealer were the 2 left alive. We see Lifestealer now following that exchange, able just to pick up the Abyssal Blade, a huge pick that will help shut down these BKBs on both the Storm and Gyrocopter. Though, conversely, Gyro now has an MKB up, and, well, Furion has his Necro Book level 3, which he didn't have for that fight. So things are going to be more difficult on both sides of the coin. But you got to give a small edge to 5 and Q. Slark will find himself a Gyrocopter, will initiate, pops the BKB. Gyro uses his BKB as well. Slark, he's already used the ultimate. Is he going to pursue for it? He wants it. Can he finish off this Gyro? Ring around the rosy. Oh no, Slark, you're going to pay with your life. That's an overcommitment. And he will fall, and it's not going to be for free. They're also going to get the Visage. A 2 for 0. Oh no, MVP. starting to throw away that edge. It was a noble effort to go for that gyrocopter, but you saw the Slark hesitate a little bit right there. Wasn't sure if he wanted to dive the tower or not. If he had just gone for it straight away, he may have been able to secure that kill and then back up, but instead, that little bit of stutter step did cost him. The gyrocopter gets away, and the ring around the Rosie works out well for the gyro. Now, pressure coming into the base. Puck comes in. Dream Coil to start it off. BKB gets popped by the storm. Won't be enough to keep the Crystal Maiden alive. And Nature's Prophet trying to pour it out. He'll get stunned, and he will fall. So they repel the push. They grab 2 kills in the mix. And now the Necronomicon units will get cleaned up as well. Also forcing out the BKB on Storm Spirit. That is a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. It will be on cooldown now for another 70 seconds, and we'll take it down to the 8 duration. Knowing that Nature's Prophet and Siam are down, MVP will move into Roche, and they might be able to do it. The minus armor will make this a relatively easy Roshan. He'll fall very quickly. Oh, we've got a space creator here. It's Alchemist. He's going to charge a stun, will burn the mech, and actually does get the stun off. He buys some time. Space equals created, and Roshan has fallen. Aegis of the Immortal does go the way of Slark, but he needs to be careful. This Aegis may get burned straight away, and it will. It gets popped as they finish him off, and Slark will not be out of the clear quite yet. Does he have his cooldowns? Yes, he does. BKB popped as soon as he pops back up. And will focus on the gyrocopter. Does not have an ult coming up anytime soon. And Slark, Dark Pact. He will head back. Visage needs to be a little bit careful here. Will throw a stun. Burrow Strike actually off the mark. Both Visage and Slark will survive. So they get the bonus gold from Roche, but the Aegis won't come in handy too much. Crystal Maiden in the mid lane will get picked off by the solo Puck. Yeah, that Wrath of Nature doing a fair bit of damage as well. And Puck's in trouble. Nature's Prophet comes in. They finish off the Fairy Dragon, but it's not over. Slark pounces in. Now he's got the Nature's Prophet. There's the Epicenter. It does a lot of damage on the Slark. They secure the kill, but it will cost Sand King his life. All of these back and forth exchanges. Ooh, the call down comes now. He secures the kill on the Visage. Storm is back in the mix, and Lifestealer will fall. This is ridiculously back and forth. In the end, 5 and Q kind of come out ahead. They've got 2 alive. MVP have 1. They will press forward and try and take out the mid lane. I see someone in chat. What is this? I don't know. Apparently this is Dota. This is just crazy. These Korean teams are so aggressive back and forth. We've got the lone defender Alchemist here. A glyph available for MVP. I reckon they will want to burn it. Yes, they will. There it is. Just the Gyro and Storm Spirit at the moment. Alchemist, he will get dove upon here, but Storm needs to be careful. He's low on health, low on mana as well, and that overcommit will cost him. They did not need to dive that. Now Storm is going to fall. His buddy Gyrocopter ports out to safety, but no reason to dive an Alchemist like that. He's got Chemical Rage. He's regenerating. He's almost level 16. Not the target you want to go on. An Alchemist, well, he does exactly what he needs to. He buys some time. He looks juicy enough that they want to go for him. And instead of finishing off the tower, they say, well, let's dive Alchemist. And, well, gives him a taste of the old Alchemist 1-2, left, right, here and there. There was a buyback used by the Lifestealer, though, as well as Tony Slark. Oh, no, that was a buyback from a while ago. But they will be able to counter push here. This tier 1 tower in the mid is destined to fall, I believe. Glyph does come out. But Alchemist, not a care in the world, will take a double call down to the face. That Chemical Rage will bring him back up to an acceptable level of hit points, and they will just back out after taking the tier 1 tower. Actually, by back out, I mean rotate into the Radiant jungle and look for another opportunity to initiate. Alchemist in the front lines, charges the concoction, will throw it on the Gyrocopter. He pops the BKB, but will it be enough? Gyro trying to make it out. They're going to pursue into the tower, and it will be enough to secure the kill. Dream Coil comes out. Crystal Maiden falls. MVP looking hot all of a sudden. Sand King now stuck inside the Sandstorm, but the do-do-do ain't going to save you, little Sand King. A buyback comes out from the Gyrocopter, and it will be a 5 for Visage. Buybacks aplenty coming. The Nature's Prophet, Storm Spirit, and the Sand King have all bought back, and MVP aren't backing. They're going to continue pressing forward. They want this tower. They will zone out 5 and Q. What a disaster of an engage that was, and now they will continue to press forward. The Storm Spirit in trouble. He'll be forced to pop his BKB as he does get silenced. Now Sand King, he pokes too far forward. This do-do-do-do-do. Oh, he's going to die once again. MVP, that was like an 8 for 1. I mean, how many everyone's buyback is on cooldown for the most part. That's chaos. That's words cannot explain the chaos that is happening here. The tier 3 tower in the mid lane will fall. Nature's Prophet, how do you feel about it? Oh, yeah.
In green, I go.
That's the spirit, Nature's Prophet. I wholeheartedly agree. The mid lane of Rax will fall. And MVP, it was looking a little bit rocky there in the mid-game, but they've now secured something. And, whoa, look at this, Tony Slark. He's just going to man up. He wants the Crystal Maiden, and he'll get it. Storm Spirit, though, he's still out of the base. And, oh, almost zips to the high ground. He will get leashed, but we'll be able to hop back up. Nature's Prophet, looking for a little bit of Rat Dota. Not going to find it. Wow. What an engage. What a team fight. And look at that mountain. The lead for MVP. Not as high as you would think on that gold graph. Experience graph looking a little bit better, and yeah, obviously finally updates a little bit. Oh, but that was just pure chaos. I wish we could just go back in time and look at the beginning of that engage. It was almost too much to swallow. But that was just one of those situations where MVP were 5, and it seemed like 5 and Q were going in one at a time. It was first the gyro, and then they went on the storm, and they were just able to split them up. Their power is in the team fight. Their power is when MVP is clumped up, and they can execute as a team, get a big epicenter, maybe get a freezing field off, and open up some space for that Rat Dota. But MVP just have these great single-target heroes. The Lifestealer and Slark have been doing such a good job choosing a target, hopping on top of him, using their abilities to lock him down and just hop from target to target to target, because they're both so elusive between the Shadow Blade, the Rage, the Shadow Dance, the Dark Pact, all of it under the sun. They are a hard duo to lock down, and also a BKB on the Slark ain't making it much easier. Now let's talk about some of these other items that have been picked up following that fight, because boy have there been quite a few. A Sang and Yang picked up by Slark. Of course, that is slang for Sanj and Yasha now in the inventory following that Shadow Blade and BKB. We've got Lifestealer now level 22 all of a sudden. A huge experience edge. Does have the Hyperstone, so no doubt going to be grabbing an Assault Kuras. Well, that means what is Alchemist going for? And oh, look at you. He got himself a Sanj, upgraded it to a Heaven's Halberd. A smart choice here for the support Alchemist. We'll have a little bit of evasion, and we'll now have that disarm ability. Sheep Stick also up on Puck now. Always a big choice on the Fairy Dragon. Now on our Radiant side, they have some okay items as well. Following that fight, not too much was picked up. Sand King does now have an Ultimate Orb. Curious what that will turn into. But they have those core items. Still the Double Orchid, the Necro Book level 3, a couple of BKBs, and that MKB still sitting on the gyro. And he hasn't made much item progression following that last failed team fight. Smoke from MVP as they move into the mid lane. They will try and rotate around. We see some pings coming out on that top tier 2 tower. The blink forward. Oh, Nature's Prophet, my friend. Sorry to hear it, but you're going to get that first class ticket back to the well. Enjoy the seat. You're going to get to take a nap here for 90 seconds. His buyback is on cooldown. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my Atlanta. Things starting to look rough for 5 and Q, folks. They had that buffer of buybacks, but no longer. Visage the only one with enough gold or cooldown available for it. And with Nature's Prophet dead for 70 seconds, this will be so difficult for 5 and Q to hold off.
For the trees!
That's exactly right. For the trees, Nature's Prophet. Oh, here's the initiation, though. The big epicenter will do a lot of damage. Alchemist is able to tank it. He gets the mech off. He will be the first to fall in this fight, but he was able to achieve what he needed to. The Crystal Maiden falls. Storm Spirit gets taken out as well. The Sand King, they do the damage they need, but it just simply isn't enough. MPV are too tilted. They're too tanky. All the buybacks come out, and it's a 5 for 1. Make it a 6 for 1. There's the GG well playeds from 5 in Q, and that will be the end of it. MVP will take this Tier 1 best of 3 series in tonight's KDL 2-0 over 5 and Q. A very convincing series. It looked good. MVP, that second game definitely looked a little bit rocky in the mid. There was that moment where it looked like they were going to start to turn, and perhaps 5 and Q would be able to take us to a game 3, but some superior plays with that Slark and Lifestealer. Really well played. Slark was the big playmaker. He really did well this game, ending 16-5 and 6. Oh boy, that was an epic series. Pretty intense. A great day of casting. Nature's Prophet, how did you feel about that game?
Nature's ferocity.
Exactly what I was thinking, my friend. Guys, that wraps up our coverage of KDL tonight. I am standing in for Lysander as he had some real-life obligations, but he will be back resuming normal coverage if I'm not mistaken. Thank you for joining us here on Beyond the Summit. I'm Zyori. You can follow me on Twitter at ZyoriTV. Remember to follow at Beyond the Summit as well, and continue to join us here for our KDL English coverage. We appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Until next time, see you later.